Hi guys. So you're gonna kind of have to bear with me because I never do this. Chris is normally the one that does all the videoing, and this is kind of weird and awkward for me, but I wanted to tell you all my story and hope that if I can give anybody some hope that me telling you all my story is definitely worth it. So I wanted to tell you about how we ended up with our baby Reagan. So I just will start and tell you at 37 years old I had totally thrown in the towel and figured I would never ever be a mom, even though it was something I've wanted to do my whole entire life. I wished and prayed, and I can't even begin to tell you the endless tears and sorrow that I had thinking that I would never be a mother. So it wasn't from lack of trying. I have polycystic ovary syndrome. I have a bad thyroid. I'm also overweight. So there's that. And I have a tumor. And I had cervical cancer as well. So I had numerous DNCs done, and been to many different doctors. I went to one doctor who told me that I was too overweight, that she would not help me until I lost weight. And then I went to see another doctor who helped me. I believe I had like 5 DNCs done. That's when they found the tumor. And he basically told me that until I lost weight, he would not help me get pregnant at all, and wanted to do a hysterectomy on me, basically because of the tumor. So when he told me that he wanted to do a hysterectomy, I quit going to that doctor, because that is the hardest decision I would have had to ever make. I mean, I knew that I could probably never have a baby, but the fact that it would be taken away from me was an unbearable decision. So I never went back. And then finally I got very sick and went to see another doctor. She ran some tests on me and found out that I had cervical cancer. So that was March last year. They called and told me I had cervical cancer, and I had to have it removed. So I did, and they removed it. I went back, and it was completely gone. But that was in March. About September, well, it was before that, I was getting deathly sick. So I couldn't keep anything down. I was just miserable. I was so sick. I went back to the gynecologist. She had told me that everything looked fine. Told me to go to my family doctor. So I went to my family doctor, and I proceeded to tell him that I was extremely sick. I was vomiting all the time, and just couldn't keep any food down. It was very, very horrible. I couldn't sleep. It was very bad. So he sent me to go get a scope down my throat to see if there was anything wrong with my stomach. So I went to have the scope done, and before they do the scope, they had to do a pregnancy test. So I'm in the room and I'm changing, and I hear a knock at the door, and the nurse comes to the door, or I hear a knock at the door and I go to the door and the nurse is at the door, and she's like, honey, we can't do your surgery because you're pregnant. And I'll never forget that as long as I live, because I never thought I would ever hear those words. And I just told her, I was like, no, I can't be pregnant because I've never been pregnant. And the doctors always told me I would never be able to have a baby. And she was like, well, your test came back positive, so let's do one more test and we'll see how it comes out. And so I did another test. At that point in time, they went out and got Chris, and he come back and he was like, why are you crying? And I was like, I'm pregnant. And he couldn't even believe it. And he was like, no, I want another test done. And she was like, this is the second test, and this one come out positive too. And it was the greatest moment of my life. It changed everything. I just want to tell people out there that are trying to have a baby and that can't, to never give up, because I was told over and over and over again that I would never ever have a baby, and was supposed to have a hysterectomy, and had basically given up all hope that I would ever be a mother. And here I am with a beautiful baby girl who's 3 months old and extremely healthy. I had a horrible pregnancy. I had all the health problems with my pregnancy because of being older and all the health problems I already had. So my pregnancy was very rough, but oh, it was so worth it, and I'd do it 100 times over again so I could have Reagan. She's such a blessing and a miracle. And on top of all the health problems and the hard pregnancy, they had to do emergency C-section because they induced me, and I went through about 6 hours of labor and she never dropped. And here the cord was around her neck, and thank God that the doctor did the emergency C-section, or else we probably wouldn't have her. So she was just a huge blessing, and she's healthy and she's beautiful, and we're so blessed. It was definitely a crazy experience. The 3 days before I was supposed to be induced, Chris fell and broke his ankle, totally shattered it, and had to have emergency surgery done. We had to push my pregnancy, them to induce me. We had to push that back so that Chris could have emergency surgery done. My mom had to have emergency surgery done on her heart. She had to have a stent put in her heart. It was just completely crazy. But everything worked out, and we definitely have a beautiful baby girl. And I know that you guys probably don't care to hear it, but if I could just give one girl hope, one family some hope, to never ever give up, because no matter how many times you hear that you're never ever going to have a baby, or no matter how many negative pregnancy tests you take, or no matter how many times you wish to have a baby and it never happens, it's so possible. I just can't over exaggerate. Please never give up. Only have a hysterectomy if you absolutely have to. I don't know. I'm just so glad that I never did that, and that I never completely threw in the towel, because had I done that, we would not have our beautiful baby today. So anyways, now I'm crying like a baby, but I can't help it, because every time I look at her I cry, because she's so beautiful and I'm so blessed. And I just wanted to tell everybody my story, and I hope that that I help somebody. That's the only thing I want to do. I wish that if there's anybody out there that is having problems, I will gladly talk to you about the things that I went through to get to where I am today. So I hope you guys enjoyed me sobbing like a baby. And normally I'm silly and the funny fat girl, but today I just really wanted to get this out. I told Chris that since we're getting a little bit more viewers, I really wanted to tell you all this. So like I said, hopefully I can help somebody. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe and share, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you guys soon. So thank you.